everybody, and welcome back to Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dallas Reppin 52, Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens.
As always, on the other half, Brendan Reppin 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a great episode for you guys today. First and foremost, we would like to apologize for our unprompted 2-week hiatus. We had 2 weeks of technical difficulties. 1 week was Brendan's side, 1 week was my side. So we're trying. Hopefully we're back on schedule. So we do apologize. But what that means is today there is so much to get through and just so very little time.
Yeah.
We are going to talk the NBA, the NHL, of course, football. And as right now the World Cup is going on, we're going to spend a decent amount of time on that.
Yes. So we'll get right into it. We last left, and we hadn't discussed who won the NHL or NBA finals. So we're going to start there with the NHL. And to little shock, the Carolina Hurricanes take the Stanley Cup and are the NHL champions. So congrats to Carolina. This is the first time in quite a few years they've won it. It was really cool. Obviously, to win the series 4-2 over a good Vegas team. I think it was pretty clear that Carolina was just better. I think Vegas was starting to run out of the, I don't want to say magic, but it kind of felt that way for parts of it for Vegas. And then I think Carolina just kind of...
Game 5 was the first shutout in an NHL final.
Yeah.
And Carolina came out swinging. You could tell they wanted to end it. You could tell they were ready to win. And like you said, Vegas didn't have the gas.
No.
They were tired. I think much like I did, Vegas underestimated Carolina going into the finals. And despite keeping up with them pace-wise, even out-skating them at times, keeping up with them scoring-wise, they never got past that mentality. And you saw it in Game 5.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm glad to see Carolina finally get over that hump. I mean, they've been there.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of, they've been to the Eastern Conference Final for, a few years in a row. One of the better teams in the league. For them to finally, reach that point was pretty cool to see. And then, obviously, liked it that they beat Vegas to do so. So, all's good there. All right.
Yeah.
We have a lot of news to get through. So, buckle up.
Since the win, so.
Yeah. A lot of news. The NHL draft has happened. There's trades. There's been a whole ton of things. So, we'll just get going. First of which, the Edmonton Oilers have named a new head coach. They are hiring Mike Babcock to be their head coach. And what is a pretty controversial hiring. There was some things that happened with Babcock when he took the job in Columbus. And I don't think ever coached a game there because of it. And the NHL Player Association or whatever association had to do an investigation in order for Edmonton to be able to hire him. So, a very interesting hiring and a very controversial one. So, not sure how it's going to go. Hopefully it goes well for the Oilers, but I just don't think it will.
I just have a hard time imagining that's a good idea.
That's...
There are some other news and other sports that has come up that we're going to talk about in terms of the decisions organizations make. And I'm just confused. There are other coaches available. That don't require investigating and don't bring this kind of attention to your franchise. In a league, by the way, that that has been criticized for years over how it's handled controversy, how it's handled cover up, how it's handled scandals and allegations from its players, from its coaches. Like, the NHL is one of the worst in terms of precedent and history with those things. So I don't think as an organization you should be feeling that, and you should be wanting that to be why people are paying attention to you or talking about you, especially in July.
Yeah. It's not a great look. Not a great
June.
look.
I'm sorry.
We're almost there. But yeah, not a good look. So we'll see how it goes.
Don't think that's the best idea.
We'll see how it goes. We're going to continue on the coaching news, and that's the Golden Knights, the Vegas Golden Knights, have officially announced that John Tortorella, who took over the team midway through or towards the end of the season, really, will not continue as head coach of the team. I think that was just kind of always the plan. And truthfully, I think this is what Tortorella wants to do. I think he wants to be I come in and I fix it and then I leave kind of person. I'm going to point you in the direction.
He does it really well.
I'm going to point you in the direction. I'm not going to stay here very long type thing. So,
yeah.
I think this was always part of the plan, but still interesting that, you fire the coach that got you to the Stanley Cup final. Less of a firing, more of a parting ways, but it's still interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
But they did not waste a ton of time, and they immediately pretty much hired their new head coach, Ryan Craig, which I'm going to be honest, I have no idea who that is and don't know a lot about him, which currently is a good thing, considering who we last talked about.
Comparatively.
What that tells me is that they actually went a different direction. They're not just hiring retreads, as you would say, which is really common for the NHL. So we'll see how it goes for him. Should be interesting. Kind of see where that goes. And then one more coaching decision, and that is the Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs have found their new head coach, and they're going with Jim Hiller, who used to coach, be an assistant coach in Toronto before he went on to the Kings to be the head coach. So returning to Toronto to take over the head coaching role. And again, kind of see how that one goes. Did not have a great tenure as a head coach. We'll see if he can't rekindle that with kind of his former team.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. All right, I believe that does it for coaching news. So we'll get into some trades because there was a lot of them prior to the draft. First of which, we had a sign-in trade, which if you don't know what that means, it just means the players signed with the team, because in hockey, you can do some weird things with contracts that way. In free agency or in standard, you can only sign a player to a 7-year deal, but if it's a re-sign, you can take that to an 8-year deal. So you do see sign-in trades quite often just to get that extra year added on. And this one is defenseman Darren Radish is being traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs from the Tampa Bay Lightning in exchange for a 5th-round pick. Darren Radish had a really good season last year, had a breakout season. So the Toronto Maple Leafs are taking a bet. He continues with this. He is pretty much signing an 8-year, $8.5 million deal. So the Maple Leafs are taking quite a bet with that contract. Giving up a 5th-round pick is nothing really in the NHL.
In the NHL, that's nothing.
So really their risk is coming with the contract for the Lightning. They just get an extra pick out of someone they probably weren't going to be able to re-sign. So probably a decent bit of business there from the Lightning. Next trade is the San Jose Sharks have traded for Michael Kesselring, defenseman from the Buffalo Sabres. They're also receiving the 27th pick in the NHL draft, and they were giving up the 20th pick in the NHL draft. So Buffalo moves up 7 spots and gives up Michael Kesselring. Decent move for both teams, I think. Just kind of considering where San Jose's at, adding a proven talent is probably the way to go with all the young talent they currently have.
Yeah. Yeah, they're such a young team. So adding a veteran to the roster hopefully will help.
The next trade is one of the biggest ones of the offseason. Really cool trade. The Ottawa Senators have traded Brady Tkachuk to the Florida Panthers in exchange for the 9th overall pick, 25th overall pick, a 2029 first, and a 2030 second. So Brady Tkachuk joins his brother Matthew in Florida on the Panthers. So pretty cool trade. The NHL loves having brothers play on the same team. It is a very common thing. Very, very common. We'll actually talk about more later. So yeah, big trade.
Nice.
For Ottawa, they get a ton back in terms of draft picks. No players in return, which is interesting, considering Ottawa made the playoffs this year. But if you wanted to rebuild, this was the way to do it.
They have kind of an aging roster. I'm not surprised they chose a ton of picks.
Yeah. Continuing on the trade route, the New Jersey Devils have traded Simon Nemec and Maxim Zyplakov.
We apologize.
Yeah, to the Calgary Flames in exchange for 2 first-round picks, a 2027 pick and a 2028 pick, a 2026 second-rounder, and then prospect Etienne Morin. Nemec is really the prize of that trade. I don't know. I assume Maxim is a prospect along with Morin. So it's really picks and a couple prospects for Simon Nemec. Interesting move for Calgary. I think for New Jersey, they weren't really going to be able to re-sign Nemec, who was, I believe, going into UDFA. So it does kind of make sense. They do get some decent draft capital back, even though those picks are Vegas and Colorado. So I mean, like you're not getting premium.
Pretty low.
You're not getting premium first round picks, but you are still getting first round picks. So
yeah,
not a bad move. Next one, the Washington Capitals have traded for Jordan Kyrou. Going to St. Louis is Connor McMichael and Milton Gastrin, along with the 16th overall pick in the 2026 NHL draft. Jordan Kyrou is really good. I think the Capitals have kind of realized they kind of need to win right now because their roster is getting up there in age, and you're not going to have Ovechkin for much longer. So they've kind of got to start planning for without Ovechkin, and if they want to get another one with him, they've got to do it soon.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I think that's kind of the move here from them. Is just to try to go all in now, maybe get one more, and then see where it goes. Next up is one of the other big trades of the offseason, and that is the Chicago Blackhawks have traded for Bowen Byram and Jordan Greenway from the Buffalo Sabres. Going to the Buffalo Sabres is the 4th overall pick in the NHL draft, the 45th overall pick in the NHL draft, and then Louis Crevier. So the 4th overall pick is a huge chip That is kind of crazy to trade. All in all, I am not a fan of this from Chicago. Like, Bowen Byram's good. I don't think he's 4th overall pick good. And then Jordan Greenway is good. But again, I don't think those two combined equate to the 4th overall pick. So, quite a bit of an overpay from Chicago, especially considering they then gave Bowen Byram a hefty contract. Just not my favorite trade of this offseason so far.
No, not one of the smartest.
Next trade was the Colorado Avalanche. Traded Jack Drury, Chase Bradley, and a 3rd-round pick to Nashville in exchange for Fedor Svechkov and Zachary Leroux. I think the Avalanche got worse after this trade, but it's not saying a ton. Jack Drury is really good. The problem with it is he was a restricted free agent that they weren't going to be able to afford, especially considering that he just got I believe it was a 4-year or 5-year, $4.5 million contract. 5 years, $4.5 million. The Avalanche do not have the space to sign him to play bottom 6 minutes at that price. So, really for them, it was we can't pay you, so we're just going to get what we can out of you. So they got 2 young forwards out of it. So all in all, not the worst trade the Avs could have made, but it is unfortunate. Jack Drury was one of their better depth pieces. So we'll kind of see how these two come in return, solidify that depth.
Hopefully, being younger, there's room for growth. At least I think that's what the Avs are thinking.
Yes.
And improvement rather than the expense of Byram. So hopefully this will be good. Obviously, we know how this past season ended.
Yeah. They've got to do something. So
they got to do something,
and they're creating a ton of cap to possibly do something. So we'll see how that goes. Next is the Washington Capitals have made another trade, and that is they acquired Alex Tuch from the Buffalo Sabres for a 2027 third and forward David Kampf. Tuch also did sign an extension after that. It's an 8-year, $84 million extension, so that is 10.5 per year. So big contract for Alex Tuch. Big trade for the Capitals, who, just based on everything they're doing, seem to be going all in this season to hopefully get one more with OV. For one more chance at it with OV. So, I respect that.
I respect that. Don't like the Capitals, but I respect it.
I respect that you want to get one more for one of the best to ever do it.
And if you trade Wilson, I'll have a different opinion on the matter.
That's not happening.
It's not, but that's my stance.
We will continue on the trades just because there are a bunch more, and then we'll get into some of the extendeds. Another trade is the Utah Mammoth traded J.J. Peterka to the Boston Bruins in exchange for 2 first-round picks, one of them in the 2026 draft and then one of them in the 2028 draft. So, Peterka going to Boston. I think this is a good move for Utah. Peterka is a good player. But at the end of the day, 2 first-round picks really does help that team more for the future, which is what they need currently.
Yeah. They need future help. Yep. They're not in a win-now position.
Next one is another pretty big trade. And that is the New York Rangers have acquired Dorofeyev from the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for a 2026 first, a 2026 third, and a 2028 first. So 2 first rounders and a third. for Dorofeyev, who just led Vegas in scoring in the playoffs. Had a great season. The issue was he was going to get a huge contract. I believe he's making 5 years, 11 something million per year. Huge contract. Vegas is not in the cap space to sign that, so get what you can out of him. To get multiple firsts is pretty good, and then another third. I think that does help them in the long run. But again, it does make that team worse in the short term. Next is Anaheim traded Mason McTavish forward to the St. Louis Blues in exchange for picks 15 in this year's draft and 29, so 2 first-rounders, both in the draft. So Anaheim moving on from a player that, again, I don't think they'd be able to re-sign or didn't want to re-sign to get 2 first-rounders. Pretty good. Not much
pretty
to
good.
that.
I have a hard time thinking they don't have the cap, though, when they're such a young team. But
my guess is it was more of a he doesn't want to re-sign.
That's fair.
So you might as well just trade him.
Yeah, get what you can for him. This is something that NHL does really well that the NFL could learn from.
Yes. Next is one of the smaller trades, and it's just the Florida Panthers have acquired the rights to Ratko Gudas in exchange for the rights to AJ Greer going back to Anaheim. What I mean by rights is it's just they have the first right to sign him now. He's not going to hit they're not going to hit free agency until after they decide whether to re-sign him or not, type thing. It sounds like both players are going to re-sign with the respective team that they got traded to. So I think that's all fine and dandy. Nothing major there. And then the last trade we'll get to is the Florida Panthers have acquired goaltender Jacob Markstrom and Angus Cruikshank from the New Jersey Devils in exchange for Evan Rodriguez, Jesper Voquist, and Ben Steeves. So the Florida Panthers find their Bobrovsky replacement in Jacob Markstrom. And then really quickly, just a couple extensions that were signed. First of which, Zach Benson, defenseman for the Buffalo Sabres, has signed a 7-year, $7.5 million deal to stay with the Sabres. So, pretty big extension there from the Sabres, but a good player, well deserving of the contract.
Congratulations to him.
Next 2 were both Avalanche players. First of which was Brent Burns, re-signed on a 1-year deal. I think it's like a 1-year, $2 million deal with incentives. Based on what I was seeing, he's probably only going to make like 1.5, 1.25. He's probably not going to reach the other incentives. So he's back for 1 more season. I think really this was just for him to go break the record for most consecutive games played, which I think he only needs like 57, something like that, more to break the record. So my guess is that's kind of the plan there for him, and this will be his last year.
Fair enough. And
then they also re-signed Brett Kulak, who they traded for mid-season at the deadline, another defenseman. He's signing a 5-year, $4.5 million deal. I think the Avs are much more willing to pay this for a defenseman than they were for Jack Drury, just because their defensive depth is a lot less than their forward depth currently. So,
agreed.
I think both of those moves made sense in a vacuum. We'll kind of see how it goes this next year. And then the last bit of news we will talk about in the NHL was the NHL draft did happen while we were gone. And the Toronto Maple Leafs selected Gavin McKenna with the first overall pick.
Not surprising.
Pretty not surprising. The only thing that could have prevented that from happening was the small issue he had in the offseason where he got an assault charge, but it doesn't sound like anything really came of that. based on everything we heard, he was kind of in the right, but there was that small issue. So
it was a small thing.
um,
Depending on the situation, hockey tends to take that a little less seriously than some other sports.
And again, it sounded like he was more in the right, so
yeah,
I think
they just let it go.
Yeah, and it was pretty obvious he was going to be the number one overall pick. So really, that was it. The NHL draft is not the most exciting thing to watch in the world, if I'm being honest.
So many rounds. It's so, and it just feels like it's never going to end.
It's the same as the NFL. There's actually less picks in the NHL draft than there is in the NFL draft. Same amount of rounds. The difference is
it just feels like it takes forever.
Because
don't they do it all in one day?
No, so they do the first round in one day, and then they do the 2nd through 7th in one day.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not 3 days, it's 2. But the first round takes forever because they don't start the clock after a team picks. So like in the NFL, a team picks and the team behind them is immediately on the clock. Like the pick goes in and then that team's on the clock. In the NHL, the pick goes in, they announce the pick, and then
oh my god,
they go on the clock.
Yeah, see, that's too long. It's forever.
Yeah, so not the best way to do it. And then they always have to have like the announcements, interviews, and all that fun stuff. So, not the most exciting thing to watch. The only other cool thing that happened was the Pittsburgh Penguins drafted a pair of twins, one in the first round, one in the second round. So that was kind of cool. Again, the NHL likes to have brothers play together.
Loves it.
There was a minute there, I thought they were going to go back-to-back picks because Pittsburgh had back-to-back picks. And they took one brother and then traded out of the other pick. So it was like, are they going to do the thing?
I feel like the thing is they knew they were going to be able to get the other brother because every other team in the NHL goes, we see what you're trying to do. We're going to let you do it.
Pretty much. And yeah, they got him early in the second. So decent bit of business there for the Penguins. But yeah, that was pretty much it. NHL draft is, again, not the most exciting thing in the world. No. Especially when your team doesn't pick a whole ton.
No.
Speaking of, terrible. There was one more trade. There was 2 more trades we missed.
Oh, shit.
Because they're both Avalanche trades. And I realized we forgot them. First of which...
I thought they were part of more, but...
They were. 2 more trades. My bad. They were in a separate section. First of which was the Avalanche traded Ross Colton and goaltender Isaac Posh to the Nashville Predators in exchange for goaltender Magnus Krona, a 2026 third, and a 2027 third. So 2 third-round picks, a developmental goalie in exchange for a developmental goalie, and Ross Colton. So not a huge trade. And then the other trade the Avs made was they traded Valeri Nichushkin to the Columbus Blue Jackets in exchange for a 2026 second, a 2027 third, and a 2029 fifth. For me, this is the Avs just creating cap space on a player that hasn't been performing quite to the level they expect.
He's been hurt a lot.
Had some other issues.
It's just, it hasn't gone well. So not surprised at this.
Good player.
Kind of glad.
Good return.
They're getting rid of kind of the drama and the stuff. So
what I will say is they have traded 3 of their depth forwards, so they are going to have to replace that in free agency or in some way. We'll kind of see what they do there. But I trust Joe Sakic. I do expect this to just be clearing cap space to do more this offseason.
You know what a lot of this points to, for me, is you're clearing cap for Makar.
You're clearing cap for Makar and whoever else you want to bring in.
Because he should be coming up here soon. And that's not going to be small.
He can officially sign a new contract I believe either today after a certain point or tomorrow. So we'll kind of see if he
all of this gives you room for Makar and to add more depth where you need
something. Yeah, so we'll kind of see. They probably are going to go bargain bin shopping in terms of free agency, just kind of where they left themselves with cap space. All in all, they're still in a good spot. That just is where they are in terms of cap. And
they're in a good spot, but again, someone's getting ready to eat up quite a bit of it.
Yeah. I believe that does it for the NHL.
Well, like we said, so very much news. But congratulations to Carolina. Congratulations to all of these teams. And in their kind of next stage, heading into the next season. And we will continue to keep you updated.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we are going to move on to the NBA, who also had their playoff finals.
Yes. And in the playoff finals, the New York Knicks end a 53-year drought and finally win another NBA championship. The series only went 5 games. The New York Knicks had one of the most dominant playoff runs of all time. I think they only lost 3 games.
They only lost the
4
one.
games.
They only lost the one.
No, in terms of like the whole playoffs.
No, in the playoffs, the whole playoffs, they only lost the one to the Spurs.
No, because they lost 2 to Atlanta. I'm pretty sure
they didn't.
In the first round, they did.
I think they did.
I'm like 90% sure
they were like 13-0.
No, I'm pretty sure they won 13 in a row after losing 2 in a row to Atlanta. Yep, that's what happened.
I need this confirmed. Okay.
They lost
they won like 13 in a row.
They did, but they lost game 2 to Atlanta and game 3 to Atlanta, and then did not lose again until game 3 against San Antonio.
The Spurs. Okay.
So again, you went 16-3 in the playoffs. That is ridiculously good.
That's impressive. That's fantastic.
One of the most dominant playoff runs ever. I'm really happy for New York. Obviously, 53 years is a long time to wait for another trophy. So happy for them. Glad they finally got it. And again, they did it in dominant fashion. However, there is one interesting stat with that. The San Antonio Spurs led in every single game and led in the fourth quarter of every single game of the finals and still lost 4-1. So...
yeah, there were a couple of things here for me, right? It was a great series if you were a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
I think if you were a Spurs fan, you were ripping your hair out.
Yeah, it was not.
The Spurs have the largest comeback in NBA Finals history. They have one of the most dominant performances. And the Spurs never seem to understand that. When you watch that series, the Spurs played as though they were going to jump out to big leads, could let off the gas, and they would win. And that's how they played every game. And only one time was it true.
Yeah.
The Knicks had more stamina. They played together more cohesively. And I think the Knicks understood their opponent better. The Spurs, I think, underestimated the Knicks the entire time. I think they underestimated the position they were in the entire time. And I think they underestimated, I don't want to say their talent, right? But their capability.
Yeah. And they're a young team, and I think that was part of the problem.
They're a very young team. This is a first-time head coach, and it showed. There were a lot of time management mistakes, rotational mistakes, and if I think more appropriate things had happened, Wemby was suspended for Game 5 anyway. So this was a rough series for Wembanyama. This was a rough series for the Spurs. I am really happy for the Knicks. I greatly enjoyed the series. I loved the win. Brunson was named MVP.
Yes.
Throughout the series, there were arguments for like other people, right?
But it was Brunson.
But game 5, Brunson had half of the team's points. He went out there and did it himself.
He was just the most consistent throughout the whole playoff run.
So it was great. It was a lot of fun. Like you said, really happy for the Knicks. Really happy for New York. Ending a 53-year drought.
Now, maybe don't burn down your city after you win one, but that's a...
Let's have some decorum, but whatever. It's still standing, if you're not sure.
It is, but...
There are a lot of people from other countries talking about the city. It's a lot of fun.
What's better is the World Cup was also there at the time.
Yeah.
So that was...
They were a little confused about some of the celebrating, but happy for New York.
Yes.
It was great. It was great to watch. Congratulations to them. I just thought it was a great series.
Definitely a good series. So look forward to that. All right. We'll get into all the news because, again, there is a lot of it
so much of it.
The NBA. So let's get right into it. We'll start with some coaching moves. First of which, the Portland Trailblazers have hired Minnesota assistant Micah Nori to be the next head coach of the franchise. We'll kind of see how that goes. He's one of the more respected assistants in the NBA, coming from a good organization. So we'll kind of see how it goes for Minnesota. Or for Portland.
Okay.
Next on the coaching hires was the Dallas Mavericks have hired Michigan coach Dusty May. So Dusty May obviously just won the national championship with Michigan and is leaving them to go to the NBA, taking the Dallas Mavericks job. He then also immediately drafted a Michigan player in the draft. Spoiler alert, but still. Kind of
unsurprising.
Wow, shock. Michigan was really good, had good basketball players. Their head coach just goes to Dallas. I think I know who they're going to take. So yeah, see how it goes there. I don't think he's ever been an NBA head coach. Could be wrong. We'll kind of see. And then lastly, the Chicago Bulls have hired the Portland Trailblazers interim Tiago Splitter to be their next head coach. Splitter had a okay time replacing Chauncey Billups in Portland, considering the situation that he was thrusted into. Yeah. So I think Chicago is just betting on him to be a good head coach. So we'll be intrigued by that one. But that does it.
Interesting to see.
Does it for head coaching moves. We'll get into some trades that have happened, and we'll save the big one for later, for last. So the first one we'll talk about is the Brooklyn Nets have acquired Julius Randle, a 2026 first-round pick from the Timberwolves in exchange for Mo Gai, a 2026 first, so they swapped picks. And then the Bulls were also involved, and they got Nick Claxton from Brooklyn. I believe the Bulls gave up one of the picks. I don't remember which one it was. But still, 2 first-rounders. Oh, no, they gave up Mo Gay. That's what it was. So, yeah, Julius Randle going to the Nets, and then a pick swap. Pretty interesting from Minnesota. I thought Randle was pretty good there, but Minnesota is making some interesting moves this offseason with some trades. Next on the trade list is the Portland Trailblazers have acquired Ja Morant from the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. So not a whole ton to give up for Ja Morant, which is very interesting. Obviously,
Yeah, a little surprised by that.
there is some of the off-the-court issues. He's not known for being very intelligent off the court, but he's a great player. It'll be very interesting to see how the Portland Trailblazers use him. I do really like where the Trailblazers are going with some of your younger talent and then adding a very experienced, good point guard to the mix will be very interesting for them. Next up, the Charlotte Hornets have traded Miles Bridges and a 2029 first-round pick and a 2027 second-round pick to the Phoenix Suns for Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and a 2023 first-round pick. So, Charlotte trades a veteran to Phoenix for some more veterans. This isn't a bad move from Charlotte. I think Charlotte is going down the rebuilding route because they also traded LaMelo Ball and Josh Green to the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange for Naz Reid, a 2023 first round pick, 3 first round pick swaps in 2028, 2029, 2030, and then 3 second round picks in 2029, 2032, and 2033. So a huge trade that sends LaMelo Ball to the Minnesota Timberwolves and Naz Reid to the Hornets. What makes this interesting is I felt like Naz Reid was part of the reason the Timberwolves had good success against a lot of teams, especially the Nuggets, because it allowed them to play 2 capable centers.
Yeah.
They moved on from one of their capable centers for a good to great point guard. So we'll kind of see how that goes for Charlotte. Huge move for the Timberwolves. I do think Charlotte is just in rebuild mode now. They've traded away a lot of key pieces, getting a lot of draft picks in return. We'll kind of see how it goes for them.
Yeah, I mean, look, Charlotte doesn't have a choice but to try and hit rebuild. Honestly.
Yeah.
As for the Timberwolves, you get a new head coach. They've been through some turmoil the last couple years, trying to reset a little bit without a full rebuild.
Yeah.
When
see if you can't
you
get over that hump.
Yeah, younger superstars where you think you can. I'm not surprised. Charlotte just doesn't have a choice. If you want to contend, even in your conference, you need to start over.
Yeah. One more before we get to the big one. That is the Los Angeles Clippers have traded Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, a first-round pick swap, and 2 second-round picks. So Kawhi Leonard is going back to the Toronto Raptors, where he won a championship and was a Finals MVP. And I think the Clippers get a really good return. Brandon Ingram's a really solid player. Grady Dick is a good, young, rising player, and then getting some picks in return. Good return for the Clippers, and then obviously the Raptors getting Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, I mean, he's going back to Toronto. If you're hoping for another championship,
it's not likely.
But it's not uncommon, especially in the NBA, to kind of go back to where you've had the most success or where you started to kind of end your career. Kawhi Leonard has played phenomenal basketball in his time. It just, that time is coming to an end. So, not surprised, but good luck to him.
Yeah. All right. The last trade. I have to admit.
The big one.
The big one. And something that I did not expect to happen because we've been talking about this for like 2 years now. And nothing's happened. And the Milwaukee Bucks have traded Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis to the Miami Heat in exchange for Tyler Hero, Kalel Ware, Jaime Jaquez, Kasparis Jukionis, apologies, 3 first-round picks, including the number 13 overall pick, a first-round pick swap, and a second-round pick. Now, before we get into it, my first major takeaway is how the fuck did the Mavericks only get 1 first-round pick? Like, genuinely. What the fuck were you doing?
No, I mean,
Every
that's
trade,
a fair take.
every trade, every trade we've covered. Okay, multiple first-round picks for Giannis, 3 first-rounders and a pick swap. All right, so that's 3 first-round picks. LaMelo Ball, 3 first-round picks. Kawhi Leonard went for 2 first-round picks, and you got 1 for Luka Doncic.
No, that's fair. I don't know that until the next stupid thing is done, right? Well, there's one. In basketball, seriously, I'm not getting over it. I will always be confused. There's a very strong argument, right? For Luka is better than Giannis, however you may have that ranking. Giannis does have a championship.
But here's the thing. Luka is also like 7 to 8 years younger than most of these players we just named. The only one that's comparable is LaMelo Ball.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I know the Mavericks as a whole. Right? Like, that is what has led to where they are now, to the new coach, to their new draft picks, to Cooper Flagg. It will never excuse what you got for him versus what everybody else is worth and what he's worth. And it's outrageous. It's outrageous. That is a fuck of a haul for Giannis. He is great. He's a great player. This was disappointing.
But my question is I thought you wanted to win wherever you got traded to.
So that's why I said, I'm like, this was disappointing. He listed 3 teams that he would be willing to be traded to, the only one of which that had championship potential was the Celtics, who under no circumstances were going to trade for Giannis with their cap situation. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to work. Even a possibility. You went to the Heat not to win. You went to the Heat for the payday, and you went for how great it is to live in Miami.
Yeah, well, that's...
And that's disappointing.
That's a fair
Because if you didn't care, then just stay in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But I thought he wanted to win. So when I said, I was like, look, if you want another championship, you've got to move on. I understood that. I understood him wanting to stay.
But I feel like the moving on was... Damn.
This was crazy.
I don't think the Heat have anybody now.
They don't! They have Giannis!
They have Giannis and Bobby Portis.
But to match Giannis's cap, you have to get rid of your entire roster.
So, I love this move for the Bucks, by the way. Like, I get trading Giannis.
I think it's great for the Bucks.
Sucks for the Bucks. But also, that is like a hell of a return.
You're going to rebuild. You can rebuild in like a year.
I don't even know if they're going to... I'm going to be honest. I don't even know if this is going to be I think they're going to make the playoffs this year. Because they have a center. They have Tyler Hero. Jaime Jaquez is really good off the bench. The other 2, I don't know who they got. Like, quite truthfully, I don't know who the other 2 guys are. They could be good young players. I'm not sure. And then, you have the 13th overall pick. I don't know who they took. I'd have to go look. But still, that pick, like, it's... I mean, there's a lot to say for Milwaukee on this one. But yeah, for Giannis,
smart for them.
I hope you're happy.
And for the Heat, what's the plan? What's the plan?
The plan is to be relevant with Giannis for 3 minutes.
A year? Because you'll have a season, right? Of everybody being like, what's he going to do? What's this team going to look like? And then after that, nobody cares.
Yeah, I don't...
If they don't make a true dent in the playoffs this year with him, they become irrelevant.
And
this becomes the stupidest thing you could have done.
Yeah. I'm intrigued.
When you had Hero.
Don't get me wrong, the Heat did not have a good roster to begin with.
No, but you could have built better.
But
without this.
You could have built around something else. And not done this. Where there's no building now.
There's no building. You can't build. There's no room to build. You got Giannis. That's what you get.
So, we'll see.
And you have to hope that that's going to be good enough and not to be an asshole, right? It's proven the last few years in Milwaukee that it's not. He needs help.
Yeah. So, we'll see.
Can't do it by himself.
We'll see. It's definitely a big trade.
I was pissed.
And again, not something I ever thought was going to happen because I didn't think anybody was going to be dumb enough to do this. To give up this much. I shouldn't say dumb enough. I didn't think anybody was going to have the ability to. And clearly the Heat decided they were.
I expected if he wanted to go somewhere, he would have had higher expectations for himself and his future.
Yeah. So.
But apparently not.
Well, that does it for trades. We'll get into a couple extensions. And then one more bit of news that isn't an extension. Quite the opposite, actually. So first of which, Trae Young has signed a 4-year, $212 million deal to stay with the Wizards. Big trade there, or big signing after a trade midseason for Trae Young and the Wizards. See how that goes for him there. Next re-signing was the Golden State Warriors reached a 2-year, $40 million extension with Kristaps Porzingis. So he's back for 1 more year, or for 2 more years. So we'll kind of see how that goes. It is a player option in the second season, so it could only be a 1-year deal. So we'll see what happens with that. Next up, the Lakers have re-signed Austin Reeves to a 4-year, $185 million deal. Player option in the final season, so could end up only being a 3-year deal. But, yeah, it is a big deal for Austin Reeves.
It is. It is. I think it was the max he was available for.
I believe
Super
that's
max,
right.
but it was his max available. I think the Lakers really want to build this team around Luka and around Austin Reeves. I do think LeBron makes that difficult. We will see where they go from here.
Going to discuss that in a second. And then the last real bit of news is the free agency period for the NBA has officially opened, and the first deal that was made was Tim Hardaway Jr., who just spent last season with the Nuggets and was in the contention for Sixth Man of the Year, is signing a 1-year, $6.5 million deal with the Miami Heat. So he gets to go play with Giannis. That's what they're working with.
Good luck. Good luck.
Good player.
Is Giannis and Hardaway.
And then one more bit of news, because I almost forgot. In the NBA draft, AJ Dybonsta went first overall to the Washington Wizards. So yeah, AJ Dybonsta, first overall.
Congratulations.
Again, the NBA draft is equally as not fun to watch as the NHL draft. And honestly, the NBA draft is stupid.
Okay? At least it's shorter.
It's shorter. It's only 2 rounds. They split it between 2 days, which I find kind of stupid.
That's weird, right? That's weird.
Just do 2 rounds at the same time. Like, just get it over with.
Just do it.
The thing that pisses me off about the NBA draft is why in the hell does your league year not start before the draft? Their league year starts after the draft, which means any trades involving the draft, when it pops up, like, for example, let's say the Milwaukee picking 13th. It pops up as the Miami Heat select player.
Yeah.
When everybody knows that it's actually Milwaukee's pick.
Yeah.
Can we just change that to make it less confusing for someone that isn't paying attention to the TV? Because truthfully, it's on. Like, I had it on. Might as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not watching it. So I hear, like, the Denver Nuggets select Terrence Reed. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me look at who this is. 5 seconds later, oh, it's been traded to the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just tell me.
It was always the Spurs pick.
Just tell me it's the Spurs pick.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say. Is, hey,
well, that's fair.
This is the Spurs pick, not the Nuggets. Mainly because it does create, like, this player then has to go up there and wear a Denver Nuggets hat or whoever selected them when they damn know who they're going to play for. Like, the biggest example of this is Luka Doncic. He was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. Everybody knew he had already been traded to the Mavericks. That trade had already happened.
Yeah.
Why are you making him go out in an Atlanta Hawks uniform that he's never going to wear?
Yeah.
It's just stupid. I don't. That's my rant for the NBA.
That's fair.
Just change your league start date to before the draft. It's not hard.
It could even be draft day. Could be the start.
Or, who cares what your league start date is? Just make it official. It's their pick. That's all I ask. But no. Okay. That's my rant done for the NBA. The last mild bit of news, and I struggle to call it news because I really don't find it news, but it's LeBron James has pretty much announced that he's not returning to the Lakers this year. He is going to enter free agency.
I had not seen that.
And he's going to sign elsewhere. How you haven't seen that, I don't know, because I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Every team in every single league has gone, like, full-blown.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I was on Twitter, like, today, hadn't seen a single bit of it. Had no idea.
I've seen jersey swaps for the Jaguars, who was the other NFL team? Packers.
NFL?
Yeah, that's my point. Is, like, every league in the world has gone and is like, he's coming to us for some reason. I think it's a running joke because of
he did a
previous
statement.
in his career.
He did an interview at one point that he thought he could play in the NFL.
So, like, previous in his career, he made the joke. So I now, like, every league in the world is making the same joke. So, like,
the man's in his 40s.
The Jaguars have said it. The Packers have said it. An MLS team, I want to say Minnesota's MLS team has done a jersey swap. Like, it's just everywhere.
All right. Well, not taking that seriously, right?
No.
I would assume either a contender or back to.
I would say Cleveland.
Cleveland, there it is. I'm sorry.
But
I was going to say Chicago, but that's not right.
Part of me thinks maybe the Heat. I don't know if the Heat can afford him.
Maybe if he plays on the minimum,
he might choose to do that just to go play with the Heat,
just to play with Giannis. He's always kind of wanted to play with Steph.
That's really where everyone.
That's another team. For the vet minimum, to spend a year with Steph. Or a year with Giannis.
That's where everyone thinks he's going. Is they think he's going to Golden State.
That would be my probably top guess.
Golden State did not exercise Draymond Green's extension. So I think their plan is to like sign LeBron, sign Draymond to a lesser deal, and then I think they were also trying to trade for Anthony Davis. There was a
Okay.
whole thing that they were just trying to create like a super team, and like this was
Yeah.
legit.
I
I most of it's not happening, if I'm pretty honest. Um, but yeah,
Okay. Well, that does make me feel a little bit better. I don't know how I haven't seen that. That's outrageous. That does
now
make me feel better about Austin Reeves' contract.
the funniest thing is he announced this the day after Bronny James's contract became fully guaranteed. So yesterday, Bronny James' contract was fully guaranteed with the Lakers, and then he announced he's not returning. So he just
LeBron
guaranteed.
James is not anything if it not intentional. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
he
he's
just
not dumb.
he just guaranteed his son like
Yeah.
$2.5 million or some shit.
He's like,
Fair
okay,
enough.
he got to play with him. He got him a little bit of money.
Yeah, it was just funny to me that literally yesterday, contract became guaranteed. Today, I'm not planning on re-signing with the Lakers. Move on without me. I think that was like the thing. He's like, I'm not re-signing with the Lakers. Prepare to move on without me. Was pretty much the message.
I mean, fair enough.
So yeah, it's not news until it becomes news, in my opinion.
No, until he goes somewhere, until he signs with somewhere, it's not news. It's interesting. Again, I feel better about the Austin Reeves contract, but
yeah,
until he goes somewhere, I don't care.
all right. I believe that does it for the NBA.
Nice. Well, lots of news, lots to catch up on. Thanks for hanging out with us through it. We know the World Cup is going on. We are going to quickly do some NFL catch-up news, just talk Seahawks, Ravens, league overall, and then get into the World Cup. I know there's a lot Brendan wants to talk about. There's some things I want to talk about, and we're going to do all of that. We're just going to freshen up in the NFL for a minute.
Yes. We're going to keep this as quick as we can make it. There's not a whole ton of news in the NFL. We're just going to try to keep it quick. First of which, a lot of contract extensions have happened. This is kind of the time of the year for that to happen before training camp, before any distractions happen. You'll see a bunch get done. So first of which is the Titans have agreed an extension with Jeffrey Simmons to make him the highest paid defensive tackle in NFL history. It's a 3-year, $105.8 million deal with $100 million guaranteed. So huge deal for Jeffrey Simmons. Great player, well-deserved contract, and is, I think, going to be a big part if the Titans ever actually get going as a franchise.
Yep.
Next bit of news is Joe Tryon-Shoyinka is announcing his retirement. He's stepping away from football at the age of 27. I hope all the best. It's tough to see players that young retire, but sometimes your body just can't handle it. It is what it is. It's a physical sport. So I wish him all the best in retirement. We'll kind of see where he goes from here.
Good luck to the young man. Yeah, it's always hard to see when they retire so young, but if that's what he needs, I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah. Next is the Saints are bringing back Cam Jordan on a 1-year deal. It is, I believe, a upwards of $10 million deal. I know it is pretty much all incentive based to bring him back. No surprise.
I'm getting ready to retire deal. That's what this is.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. This is probably my last season.
I want to go back and play for kind of the home team that drafted me, team I spent the most of my career. I'm gonna spend a year and not be a ton on the cap hit, and then I'm going to go away.
Yeah, so that was interesting. Next one is the Jets have agreed a contract with guard Joe Tippmann. It's a 4-year extension. I don't think they've released any of the financials yet. I cannot imagine it's insane, Like, he's a good guard, but he's not like the best guard in the league.
They don't have a great O-line. You can't tell me that you have a phenomenal guard. So,
like, again, he's good, and he's probably one of their better offensive linemen. And I do think their offensive line is significantly better in terms of, like, their tackles are both young on rookie contracts.
it's definitely getting better.
He's a very good piece in the middle. There's some things to work out elsewhere, but yeah, I think they're improving pretty well. But yeah, good contract for him. The Panthers have signed wide receiver Jalen Coker to a 3-year, $35 million deal with up to $41 million in incentives. Pretty good deal for him. For the Panthers, feels a little weird that he gets an extension. I just don't feel like he's been featured in the offense quite as much, but maybe this is just a, hey, we believe in you. We're going to feature you a lot more here in the future type situation. And obviously teams know better than us on where they're at with that. So if they believe in him, I think that's fine.
I do agree, though. Just feels a little confusing.
Yeah.
Not saying it's unwarranted, just
interesting.
Confusing.
Next bit of contract news is the Broncos and Sean Payton have reached a 5-year agreement on a new contract. So Sean Payton will be with the Broncos for 5 more years, assuming everything goes well. Solid. That keeps him and the GM there long term. I think continuity really is the best thing for any organization. So if they can keep that, they should.
Agreed.
2 more extensions, and then we'll get into some more interesting news.
Fair.
The Jaguars have extended tight end Brenton Strange to a 3-year, $48 million deal, $25 million guaranteed. Solid tight end, solid money for him. I don't know where exactly this puts him in terms of tight ends, but it cannot be that high. He's a good player. It's not a bad contract for him. And then another tight end re-signed, and that is Kyle Pitts. And the Atlanta Falcons have reached an agreement on a 3-year, $54 million deal, $36 million guaranteed. This is the largest 3-year contract for a tight end. I think they're more paying him like he's a bottom-end wide receiver type thing.
Yeah.
Good deal for him, but we'll kind of see if he can make good on it. Has had some struggles in terms of production since joining the NFL, and obviously was a pretty high draft pick. So hopefully he can continue to improve, make that contract worth it.
Given some of... Nope, never mind. Wrong team.
Yeah. We're not going to spend a ton of time talking about this one, just because, again, we have not gotten all the information, but it's not looking good. And that is the Lions have released corner Terrion Arnold. Obviously, he was a first-round pick of theirs in 2022, 2023. Can't remember which year now. But he is obviously, if you haven't heard, he's been arrested and he's facing charges on armed robbery and kidnapping. There has not been any decision made. There probably won't be. Don't know when the trial is. But the Lions have released him. That's the news we're going to bring. We're not going to talk about...
It's not uncommon. It is irrelevant how things go on the civil side of things and the judicial side of things. The Lions have the right to make decisions for their franchise and their organization. Yeah. And the NFL, as always, will conduct their own investigation and determine if league actions need to be taken as well. So,
and obviously, depending on what happens, league actions might not need to happen because other actions will. So,
yeah. So
kind of see where this one goes. Again, Lions are moving on. If that says anything, it's not looking good. But Who knows? Not going to speculate.
Will not speculate. When we get more reported, verified news, we will share it.
Yes. And then the last bit of news in the NFL, and this is very interesting.
Which we waited.
We waited a long time, and I did all this research.
How the chips were going to fall.
I did all this research on what was going to happen. For it to pretty much crumble down in like 30 seconds. So
let's just start from the beginning.
Yes. From the beginning. Brendan Sorsby.
Texas Tech quarterback.
Yes. It starts in his freshman year when he was a walk-on at Indiana. And this is before Indiana is national champions, before Indiana hired Kirk Cincinnati, and when Indiana, quite frankly, sucked at football. He was a backup quarterback. He was placing bets on his team. That has been confirmed. That happened. He was placing bets on his team. What I cannot confirm or deny is whether he was placing bets on his team to lose. That I have no idea. But I can't, he was placing bets on his team. They have not announced the nature of those bets.
What he bet, it's just that he placed bets on Indiana.
Now, I want to say he had bet a lot of money throughout this whole tenure. And he had been doing it through channels that he was not placing the bets. He was giving money out to friends, family, stuff like that. Other people to go place bets for him in their name. That right there is sketchy. But so this was all found out.
Also a violation of NCAA rules and regulations.
So all this was found out, and the NCAA stripped his eligibility. So he had transferred to Texas Tech. This investigation was ongoing. The investigation found wrongdoing, so they stripped his eligibility. Sorsby then filed a response to the NCAA. An injunction. Thank you. Couldn't think of the word. An injunction against the NCAA to get that last year of eligibility back. He was originally denied and then went to a Texas judge, and the Texas judge ruled that he should get that last year of eligibility back. So that ruling came down.
And I have my own opinions on that, but right now we're just talking about what happened.
Is that a good thing? No. But
no.
It's a moot point now because
it's irrelevant.
After the ruling, the NCAA was like, okay, we're going to do our own little research real quick before we make any decision. So they were just trying to stall. It's pretty much what was happening.
Yep.
Before the NCAA made a decision, Brendan Sorsby went back to the NCAA and went, you know what? Never mind. I don't want my last year of eligibility. I'm going to declare for the NFL supplemental draft. And for those of you that don't know, the NFL supplemental draft is really for players that thought they were going to get another. This was before NIL. This was before these kind of situations. It was more for players that had injuries earlier in their college careers or redshirted, stuff like that, that expected to get another year of eligibility. The NCAA then reviewed them. So for example,
determined they didn't.
Redshirt, you had to play less than 4 games. If you even saw the field in a 5th game, that would strip your eligibility. Players don't realize that sometimes, so they don't declare for the drafting, and they're going to get another year. The NCAA goes back, sees that you technically were on the field for a 5th game or were suited for a 5th game. They strip your eligibility. So the NFL holds a supplemental draft for those players. The NFL can decide whether to hold a supplemental draft or not. And it's pretty much just dependent on if somebody declares.
And to time out really fast, the last time the NFL held a supplemental draft was 2019. And the way it works is a player is in the supplemental draft, and then teams bid a pick.
Yes.
They go, okay, I'll give a 4th round pick for him.
Yeah.
And the Lions go, okay, I'll give a 3rd round pick for him. And the Seahawks go, I'll give a 6th round pick for him.
So yeah,
the highest pick wins, and then in the next draft, that pick is taken from them.
And then ties go to draft, like is decided by draft order of the 2026 draft, for example. Like, so let's say like the Jets and the Cardinals both bid 3rd round picks. It's kind of where we thought this was going to go. They both bid 3rd round picks. The Jets would win because they were the 2nd overall pick compared to the Cardinals, who were the 3rd.
Yep.
So that's how it works. This is blind auction, so you just email the NFL pretty much, hey, we bid a
what
pick.
Your bid is.
So you don't get to know what any other team does, unless, like, I guess you could probably ask them, but you could ask them, I assume. They don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
So.
And why, like, if they're competing against you, why would they?
Yeah.
So
yeah. So there's that. So the NFL has express rights to decide whether they hold it or not. Doesn't matter if a player declares, doesn't matter any of that. They can decide. So he declares for the draft. So he submits his petition. The NFL then responds with, we were not planning to hold the NFL draft, or to hold a supplemental draft. You submitted your petition too late for us to be able to review it and review all the...
To do our own investigation into the situation.
To do any research into this. And he did not provide any information in his petition to help expedite that process.
Yeah.
So the NFL pretty much turned around and went, you're shit out of luck. No, we're not holding a supplemental draft. If you wanted to do this, you needed to do this right. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the NFL's way of being like, we are not taking you into our league when you have these allegations against you. Because the NFL has been cracking down hard on betting. And their statement was very, very funny to read because it was kind of petty.
It was fantastic.
It was kind of petty. So yeah, pretty much the gist of it was, no, we're not holding a supplemental draft for you because 1, you were gambling. 2, you did not do any of the proper things. 3, no.
We don't have to. Couple extra little things that happened on this. 1, about a day later, the CFL, that's Canadian Football League,
yes,
responded to this entire situation too and went, no one has asked us, but as a heads up, he cannot play in our league either.
Yes. They pretty much put out a memo saying that no team can sign him.
Don't try, don't come asking. The answer is no.
So, at the end of the NFL statement, though, they did say, if you want to play in our league, declare for the 2027 NFL draft. So that is his only option. He has to declare for the draft. Last I heard, his team was going to pursue the legal side of this. Today, they have decided to drop that whole thing. So they are done. They are going to abide by the decision the NFL has made, which is smart. I do not recommend going on a legal war with the NFL. That is a really good way to end your career before it starts.
Yeah, you won't win, and 2, they will make it harder for you later.
Yes. So really, what the NFL did, what this boils down to, is they gave him a 1-year ban. Because they're not going to... The NFL then did also today, after he dropped his legal stance, and I think he put out a statement pretty much saying that I'm not going to pursue any more actions. I will wait until the 27 draft. I will spend the remainder of this year just preparing for that, getting myself right, and trying to not have this issue going forward. Yeah. Which is the right thing to do at this point. Just the right avenue to take. The NFL then also put out pretty much saying they will not go into any further disciplinary actions once he's entered the league. So, essentially what it boils down to is they gave him a 1-year ban for betting.
Yeah. Look, you fucked up. And there are consequences to that. I do not believe that the injunction should have been granted. It turned into a massive thing. There were entire sections of the NCAA prepared to refuse to play against Texas Tech. The NFL is its own governing body, as is the NCAA. They have the right to make rules and regulations for themselves. When you are a member of those organizations, you commit to upholding those rules and regulations or face those consequences. Sports betting is a massive consequence across all leagues and all sports. I don't care who you are. Shohei Ohtani,
Yes.
probably the greatest baseball player to ever walk the fucking planet Earth, had the FBI kick down his door to determine if he was placing sports bets illegally.
Yes.
The kid from fucking Indiana going to Texas Tech, shut up and take your punishment.
Pretty much.
So I respect that finally we went, okay.
Took you long enough.
It took you too long. Now here's the thing, right? Getting into the reality. Your career is over. You can try, and I'm not saying it's impossible.
I won't
But
say
what's
it's over.
more than likely is you will be an undrafted free agent, or you will be an undrafted prospect. You will sit on the bench, and you will maybe get a shot if someone gets hurt. The likelihood that you are a true starter or franchise quarterback in the NFL ever is almost zero.
I would agree if it wasn't for the fact that he played quarterback. And the fact that had he just declared for this draft, he probably would have gone in the second or third round.
So here's my thing. And I'm going to say a thing here in a minute because you don't have it listed as breaking news. It came up very quickly and I didn't put it in. Quarterbacks are different. You have a different set of standards. You have a different set of rules. Maybe you don't think it's fair, play a different position. You are a leader. You are the face of an organization. I don't know, except for one organization that would take that on. When there are other quarterbacks entering the draft next year,
no, you're right.
That you're going to have a better chance with. So,
I think
impossible?
A team is going to.
No. Do I think it's likely? Yes.
There's going to be a team out there, though, that takes the risk on his talent just because that's what teams do.
You have to be able to find a way to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
That you're not going to have this problem again.
And again, if he approaches his offseason properly, he might be able to spin that in his direction. But we'll see.
But acting like you did nothing wrong and playing the victim is not going to help you.
No. No, it's not.
As for does that do it for Brandon Sorsby?
Yes.
Did you have other thoughts? Okay. Okay. So, Brandon Sorsby, I don't think there's a true career path in front of him, but
we'll see.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
I think a lot of it will depend on how. Again, I think some team will take a chance, but I get it. There's a lot of risk, and
that's
you're right.
Shit right there. That's what that is.
You're right. Like, as the quarterback, you have to be the leader.
You have to be better than. It's not just I follow the rules. It's I'm better than. And that's the reality.
So yeah, we'll see. I'm going to be intrigued on what happens. But finally, that saga has ended.
Thank fuck. All right. Well, then we will move on to our teams, starting as always with the Baltimore Ravens. There's not shit.
Nice.
For news. What I will say, I'm not going to rant. I'm not in the mood. I feel like I've done that enough this episode. This is kind of the hard time to be a Ravens fan. This is the time of year Lamar faces the most criticism. The team faces kind of the most bullshit. I am not going to respond to every negative thing said about my quarterback. I'm not going to do it.
Probably a good idea.
It's not worth mine or anybody else's time. I'm going to say one thing, and then we're going to move on to the Seahawks. Lamar Jackson's first year with Greg Roman, he was the youngest unanimous MVP ever. His first year with Todd Monken, he was an MVP. His second year with Todd Monken, he should have been MVP, and he was first team All-Pro. So, good luck to Lamar Jackson and Deacon Doyle.
Still on the Deacon.
Declan! Congratulations to Lamar Jackson. Good luck to Lamar Jackson and Declan Doyle.
All right.
And now we'll move on to Seattle and the Seahawks.
A little more news than that. Not much, I'm going to be honest. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel for some of this.
We're begging for news.
First of which, they did announce training camp dates. The Seahawks start on July 17th. They also did announce that they will be holding joint practices with Tennessee in Tennessee. No real surprise there. Those two organizations have done it 2 years ago. I was intrigued with Robert Saleh taking over on if that was going to cause anything.
We weren't sure.
Doesn't seem like it did. I think Saleh and McDonald, because they're both defensive guys and they did see each other, do have a level of respect for each other.
It's fair.
So I don't think that was an issue. So yeah, they will be holding joint practices in Tennessee. So that'll be kind of cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Nice. Other news, because of the stuff that happened in the front office, the Seahawks are promoting Willie Schneider and Matt Berry to assistant GM, so they'll share that role. My guess is one of them will take pro side, one of them will take college side. Not sure which will do which. I want to say Willie Schneider is pro personnel and Matt Berry is college personnel, I think is how they came up. But yeah, so pretty cool there. Willie Schneider is the nephew of John Schneider, the GM. Before anybody says nepotism, that's part of it. The other part of it is he's actually good at what he does.
That's fair.
He was interviewed for the Titans GM role. You're not interviewed for a GM role if you're not good at evaluating talent.
Qualified.
There's only 32 of those positions in the world. You have to be somewhat qualified to do so. So yes, he is John Schneider's nephew. But he has done the work. He started out as an intern with the Seahawks. I think at this point he's earned the benefit of the doubt. And then Matt Berry has been with the Seahawks for about as long as Schneider has. So obviously, well-deserved promotion there for him. Nice. And then the last bit of news is there was a report that the first round of bids on the new ownership was due today. Psych, yesterday. It was due yesterday. So the first round is done, closed. If you didn't submit a bid then, I don't know if you're shit out of luck or if there's more rounds. I'm not sure. But based on reports, first round of bidding has been closed. There's really only been 3 reported prospect owners. 2 of them we've already talked about. the one from the Boston Celtics organization that was going to buy it with the I don't know their names, and I'm not going to go look them up. The other one was the partial owner of the 49ers. I did get a ruling. He'd have to sell off his stake in the 49ers to then buy the Seahawks.
Okay.
Obviously. Not a fan of that one, for being honest. And then the last one is the owner of the Lakers and the LA Dodgers. Also don't know his name off the top of my head.
No.
He's on his own. He also owns Chelsea in England as the soccer team in the Premier League. He's also not exciting because as someone that follows the Premier League and follows a lot of what's going on there, he is not well liked as an owner because he meddles far too much. That is not my kind of owner. So
yeah,
we're down to one viable option of what's reported, and that is the Celtics owners, which, based on everything I've heard, they seem to be good enough. They don't seem to meddle too much. They tend to let their people in place do what they should do. So they'll let the football people do football, or in their case, it was basketball to do basketball. And obviously, when they were owners, the Celtics had good success. So I'm feeling all right about that one. Those are the only ones that have been reported so far. There's probably others. I don't know who. So we'll kind of see as it goes. It does seem like that ADA or the Rappaport report from a few weeks / months ago about them possibly being sold before the season. Based on this timeline, that seems pretty accurate. That they might be heading towards that. And there might be that special league meeting in August to finalize a purchase. So we'll see what happens. And that's really it for Seahawks news. I was going to rant today, but truthfully, with Dallas, kind of burnt out on the rants. So we'll avoid that. Yeah. If it comes up again, though, we're ranting. So that's it for the Seahawks.
Alrighty. Well, then I do believe that does it for the NFL. And we will now move on to what is the sport that is actively happening, that's captivated the entire country. It's been very exciting. I've watched more soccer in the last couple of weeks than I have in my entire life because I have watched every game that has been on since it started. And that is the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
So I've tried to watch every game, but someone has to work for a living, so kind of tough. But I've watched what I can. And truthfully, this might be hyperbole. This is probably the best World Cup I've ever watched. And this is coming from someone that's watched 2010, 2014, 2018, 2022. So this is my 5th World Cup that I can remember watching. This has been one of the best ones, by far, period. And we're only on to the round of 32. And the round of 32 just started yesterday. So that's saying a lot. Yeah. But it's been an incredible tournament so far. So because the round of 32 has already started, we're going to quickly run group by group, give you first, second, third, and fourth, tell you if the third place made it from that group or not. So we'll just get right into it, try to knock this out.
Oh, yeah.
Group A. So this was Mexico, finished first. Host country, finishing first. Awesome. Love that. Really cool. Won all 3 games. Won all 3 games in dominant fashion. Did not concede a goal in all 3 games. So really cool there.
Only 3 teams won all 3 games of their group stage. So this was really impressive.
Yeah, won all 3 games and did not concede a goal throughout the group stage. So really impressive there from Mexico. Next, in second place, was South Africa, who finished with 4 points, a win, and a tie, and a loss. So congrats to South Africa. They're moving on to the next. They moved on to the round of 32. The other 2 teams in that group were South Korea and Czechoslovakia. Both of those teams did not make it past the group stage and were eliminated. So you had those two. Group B, Switzerland topped the group with a record of 2-1. 2 wins, 1 draw, no losses. 7 points. Canada came in second with 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. So another host nation coming out of the group stage. Another cool thing to see. In third place was Bosnia and Herzegovina. They also made it out of the group as one of the best 8 third place teams. So congrats to them. And then Qatar finishes last in the group with a record of 0-1-2. So Qatar has been eliminated. They did not make it to the round of 32. Group C, Brazil topped the group. Had a record of 2-1-0. Finished top of the group, tied with Morocco. They did have a better goal difference than Morocco, so they got the nod to be first place. Morocco finishing second, same record, 2-1-0. So good job to them. And third place was Scotland, who finished 1-0-2. Did not make it out of the group, unfortunately for Scotland. One of the fan favorites, we'll say, of this World Cup. We'll kind of get into some of the storylines here in a minute. Didn't make it out of the group, and then Haiti finished last, also was eliminated, going 0-3.
Yeah.
Group D, the United States topped this group with a record of 2-0-1, losing to Turkey on the last day. They had already guaranteed their spot in the next round, and had already guaranteed the win of the group. So didn't really care about that game very much. So they won the group. Australia finished second, making it out of the group with a record of 1-1-1. So congrats to Australia. And then Paraguay finished third with a record of 1-1-1. Also made it out of the group to the round of 32 as one of the best 8. So congrats to them. And then Turkey did not make it out. They finished fourth and was eliminated. Next up, Group E, Germany won the group 2-0-1. So congrats to them. They've tied with Ivory Coast, had a better goal difference than them, but Ivory Coast moved on. Same record, 2-0-1. And then Ecuador also moving on in third place with a record of 1-1-1. And then Curacao, unfortunately, came last with a record of 0-1-2. So they got a point, which is really impressive for Curacao, considering this was their first World Cup. So congrats to them.
The 2 debutantes.
Yes.
Both come away with a point. It was very exciting.
One of them came away with a lot more than just one. I shouldn't say a lot more. They came away with more than just one. Next up is Group F. Netherlands topped this group with a record 2-1-0. Solid performance from the Netherlands. Next was Japan with a record of 1-2-0, finishing second. And then in third place was Sweden with a record of 1-1-1. They did make it out of the group as a third place team. And then Tunisia finished the group 0-3. So Tunisia was eliminated. Next up, Group G, Belgium and Egypt, first and second place, both tied on 5 points. Records of 1-2-0. Belgium finished first. Egypt finished second. Iran finished third with a record of 0-3-0. They did not make it out of the group. Unfortunate, kind of controversial there at the end, but they did not make it. And then New Zealand was also eliminated in fourth place. Next group, Group H. Spain won this group, finished 2-1-0. Kind of unsurprising for Spain to finish first. The real shocker of this whole World Cup, Cape Verde in their first ever World Cup, finished second in the group with a record of 0-3-0. They managed to tie Spain 1-1, which is incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
Or no, their game was a 0-0 tie, I believe. No, yeah, 0-0, 0-0 tie. Incredibly impressive. Congrats to Cape Verde for making it to the round of 32 in their first ever World Cup. Very impressive. The other two teams in that group were Uruguay and Saudi Arabia. Both teams missed out on making it, both with a record of 0-2-1. So, unfortunate for those two nations. Next was.
I was gonna. Never mind. Well, I'll wait.
Okay. Next, Group I. This was one of the better groups in the whole tournament, and that was France wins the group with a record of 3-0, 3-0-0. Second team to go undefeated in their group. Powerhouse, no real surprise. Next in that group was Norway, who finished with a record of 2-0-1, only loss coming to France. So they moved on. And then the other third place team in that group was Senegal. They did advance to the round of 32 with a record of 1-0-2. And then Iraq was eliminated with a record of 0-0-3. So they're gone. The next group, Group J, Argentina. They are the only other team to go 3-0-0, win all three games. So they were through. Austria made it through in second place with a record of 1-1-1. Made it through. Also making it through was Algeria with the same record, 1-1-1. So both of those teams made it to the round of 32. And then Jordan was eliminated with a record of 0-0-3. Next group was Colombia, topped it with a record of 2-1-0. Second place was Portugal with a record of 1-2-0. And then third place was the Dominican Republic of the Congo with a record of 1-1-1. They did make it out of the group in third place. And then Uzbekistan was eliminated with a record of 0-0-3. Next group, England topped it with a record of 2-1-0. Croatia came second with a record of 2-0-1. Ghana came in third, made it out of the group with a record of 1-1-1. And then Panama was eliminated with a record of 0-0-3. So that's all the groups. Quick recap for third place teams that made it. The DR Congo came first in terms of third place teams, followed by Sweden, then Ghana, then Ecuador, then Bosnia and Herzegovina, then Algeria, then Paraguay, then Senegal. Were the 8 teams that made it through third place seeding. So that does it for the group. We'll kind of quickly get into round of 32 matchups, and then we'll talk some of the storylines from the group stage. Round of 32 matchups. We'll start with the ones that have already happened. First of which was, I believe, Paraguay versus Germany. Oh no, it was Canada and South Africa played. Canada won that game 1-0 to move on to the round of 16.
16.
No.
Yes, round of 16.
Round of 16. So congrats to Canada, host nation. Moving on. The next game after that was Brazil versus Japan. Brazil beats Japan 2-1 to move on to the round of 16. Who was after that? After that was Paraguay, Germany. No, I'm not sure. After that, I believe was Paraguay, Germany.
I believe that, yeah.
Here, I can double check real quick. It was not.
Oh,
It was.
I know it went to PKs.
Oh no, it was. And then, yes. The next match was Paraguay versus Germany. That match at the end of full time was 1-1. It then went all the way to PKs after extra time. Paraguay knocks off Germany in PKs to move on to the round of 16. Very impressive upset from Paraguay to beat Germany, who's one of the better teams in the world. So congrats to them. First real major upset of the tournament. The next game was Morocco and Netherlands. This game also ended regulation 1-1, went to extra time, stayed the same, went to penalty shootout. Morocco beat the Netherlands on penalty shootout to move on to the round of 16. So congrats to Morocco. Another upset, just maybe not as big of an upset as Paraguay over Germany.
Yeah.
And then the two games that have happened so far today as of recording was Norway versus the Ivory Coast. Norway won that game 2-1 to move on to the next round. And then the other game was France versus Sweden. France whooped Sweden's ass 3-0 and are moving on to the next round.
Unsurprising.
Games to still be played. One today is Mexico versus Ecuador. That should be kicking off right now, actually. Yep. Oh, nope, they're on weather delay. They're kicking off in an hour. So, unfortunate, but means we'll actually be able to watch it. And then the rest of the round of 32 matchups, we have tomorrow England versus the Republic of the Congo. Also tomorrow is USA versus Bosnia and Herzegovina, and then Belgium versus Senegal. Thursday, the 2nd, is Portugal versus Croatia, Spain versus Austria, and then Switzerland versus Algeria, and then the 3rd, to round out the round of 32, we have Argentina versus Cape Verde, which is a really tough matchup for Cape Verde. Really unfortunate. It's kind of rooting for them as a Cinderella, and they just happen to come up against a fucking juggernaut. Came second in their group just to end up against a juggernaut. It's really unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
Kind of pulling for them still, but there's that. Also on Friday is Australia and Egypt, and Colombia and Ghana. And that rounds out the round of 32. So that catches us up for where we're at in the World Cup. Again, so far it has been incredible. Chef's kiss.
Been fantastic. I've enjoyed it. Again, more soccer than I've ever watched in my life. I watched Argentina win 4 years ago. That's about it. I don't. It's not my number one sport of choice, but I have enjoyed all of it so far.
Nice. Glad to hear. Some quick things, some really cool storylines that came out of the group stage. First of which, obviously, if you were paying any attention, you would have heard that Lionel Messi has broken the record for most goals scored in World Cup history. The record was 16. He just broke it at 17. I believe he also just scored his 18th in the last game. So he continues to extend that record. Spoiler alert, he's not going to hold it for very long. As Kylian Mbappe is like 2 goals behind him. For reference, Kylian Mbappe has played in like 3 less World Cups than him. what Mbappe does is simply insane. Just want to put that out there. That's like our next point. Mbappe, Haaland, and Messi are all fighting for the Golden Boot. It has been a really good race for the Golden Boot. For those of you that don't know, that just is the most goals for this World Cup gets the Golden Boot. Mbappe, Haaland, and Messi are all right in the mix. I do believe Messi is leading that by 1.
Who? Well, no, because of today's match.
Yeah, because Mbappe scored 2 today.
1.
I think he only has a 1-goal lead. It might be tied at this point. Not 100% sure.
No, because he only got 1. So it was Messi led with 6, and then Mbappe had 4.
I thought he scored 2.
The thing I'm not sure about, actually, is if that counts Messi's in their last game.
We'll see. It does. They are tied. So currently, they both have 6. Haaland is next with 5. And then Dembele and Vinicius Jr. are both tied at 4. And that rounds out the top 5.
So here's what I'm going to say. Kind of feel like if they end tied, it should go to Messi, simply because Messi did break the record.
I think if it ends tied, it goes to whoever scored the least amount of penalty goals. I believe currently they're still tied on that because neither of them have scored a penalty. If they're tied after that, I believe they just share it. It just becomes a joint award.
Huh. Well, I guess we shall see.
And again, Mbappe's like 3 goals away from breaking the record back. It's insane what this dude does.
It's going to be hard to break the record. If you break the record, you have to score more than Messi, and I don't think that's going to happen.
He'll break it next World Cup.
I think he'll break it next one. I think right now Messi's like, you need to sit down. This is my turn.
Yeah. Like, sit down, shut up.
Yeah, like, you can have the next 2. I'm done, but this is mine.
That kind of covers a play. Another cool one, again, we mentioned it, Cape Verde tying Spain. Was one of the better moments of the World Cup. The United States obviously having a good showing, I think matters. All 3 host nations making it out of the group is great. And then just some other fun, wholesome ones. Obviously, we've had a lot of tourism, a lot of things going on. Scotland had been playing in Boston 2 games. Okay, so they were there for 2 games. They drank like Boston bars. Did almost the same amount of revenue. I think they actually made more revenue upon this whole time, upon a couple days of Scotland fans being there, sold out of pretty much every beer, than they do the whole week of St. Patrick's Day. For reference. Boston was running out of beer because of the Scotland fans.
That's great.
That is impressive because if anybody doesn't know, Boston drinks a lot. So for them to run out is mildly concerning. Now, what I want is those Scotland fans, now that they've been eliminated, to migrate to the Midwest and challenge the Midwesterners. Yeah. I think that's really where the battle will take place.
Because, like, Boston does drink a lot of beer, but the Midwest, the amount of breweries in that, it's insane.
Yeah. So that's, I think, really where the battle will happen for who can drink the most. But yeah, so that was really cool. I think the Scottish fans have really taken over, or they did before they were eliminated. I know they were going to like baseball games in like full kilt, bagpipes playing. They were just walking around, having a grand old time. I know they were in Boston and Miami, so they did things in those 2 areas. So I know they were a really big talking point. The Netherlands fans had like an orange out in one of the locations they were at, so that was really cool. Norway fans have been pretty great as well, doing the row celebration.
Yeah.
Seen a couple of them doing that, like up escalators, doing that at
They took
base.
over all of New York. They took over Times Square,
Yeah, they
and we're
were
doing
going to
it like
baseball games.
it was crazy.
I think it's
I
been like the
you
coolest thing so far with this World Cup.
you had mentioned a couple weeks ago before this had started about some of the things you were seeing on Twitter and stuff, how it was kind of wholesome. I hadn't really seen it. I am seeing it now. It's been fantastic
Yeah.
to see all these people come here and share
Oh,
in their traditions and enjoy ranch
oh
dressing.
yeah, the ranch dressing.
I'm.
The
I also
my
want to apologize. Who didn't explain to y'all the powder on the shelf that you could have taken through customs? I do
yeah,
apologize that was not explained to you.
like what's
That you just
worse
take the powder and
is I'm
add
pretty
milk.
sure TSA. I'm pretty sure TSA was like, make sure you don't bring a big bottle.
Yeah,
You could have also been like, hey, by the way, they sell a powder version that you just add to like Greek yogurt or
yeah.
milk.
So I think that should have been explained. Um,
My other favorite one, I don't know if you've seen these ones. It's a Japanese guy that I think was in Texas, and you should read the tweets are honestly incredibly funny because it reads like it reads like a story. And like the
gotcha.
first one, he went to a Mexican restaurant. And for those of
Okay.
you in America know that when you go to a Mexican restaurant, they bring out free chips and salsa. That's very
Yeah.
normal to us. For him, he was like, they just started bringing out food that I didn't earn, is what he said. I want to say it was like he's like,
Yeah.
I didn't earn this food. I haven't done anything to get this food. And then he like goes on to talk about the fact that he ate like 2 baskets worth of chips and was too full to eat his dinner. It's like you and my friend have now officially
Yeah.
understand.
Well, and I think okay. Um, you have a Japanese relative,
Yes.
like, and so we know that here in the U.S., if you go to a Japanese restaurant with Japanese relatives, they will bring you free stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. If Brendan and I go, yeah, pay for everything they bring you.
That's
The moment we're joined, they brought free stuff. So definitely I think to like go to a different culture's restaurant cuisine and be given free stuff, he's sitting there going, for
yeah.
what?
It's
I know like
there
the
was
free refills on like
oh
water
my
and so
god.
like has like
There was
been a huge thing. They're like, I'm not paying for another one. They're like, it's free. It's just you just have it.
yeah. Or I've seen like there was one like a deli in I want to say New York was having a lot of people show up and the dude was just pulling people behind the counter to help them make sandwiches. Like this one was more like a Instagram reel or like a TikTok. So that one was cool. Um man, it's been really funny. The Japanese Twitter one was hilarious. And then the Japanese fans in Texas, some of the interviews they did, like the one barely knows any English, goes up to the reporter and is like, I don't know English, but I'm really excited, and just gets like,
Yeah.
and like the reporter joins in, and just they're both like screaming pretty much. Um, it's been really cool to watch some of this.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Um I think sometimes I'm gonna say this. I hang out in very specific social circles. And that comes with strong opinions. Politically, religiously, things like that. And those are important things to discuss and they're important things to have opinions on. But the World Cup gives us a chance to be united as a people. It gives us a chance, much like the Olympics, to learn about each other, our cultures, our differences, that we're not so different. that we have ranch, and that's exciting, and we have some of these things, but we're just a people. We just get to learn about each other. We just get to share in our experiences, in our likes, in our day to day. And I think for being the first time in a very long time that the world's got to come to us versus us going to the world has been really heartfelt. And I have hope that as humanity it makes us better.
Yeah.
And I am very excited for the Summer Olympics now to see them all come back. And someone needs to tell them about powdered ranch dressing.
Yes, I think it's very important. I'm trying to find these tweets because, man, these are some of the funniest things you're ever going to read. Because I think I found it. It's the whole tweet, okay? It's USA, a Mexican restaurant. We had not yet ordered anything, and the food was already arriving. Chips, salsa, unrequested, free. I stopped the waiter. We had not earned these. Like, that's a quote.
Yeah.
They just come with the table, man. The response. They come with the table. In my land, hospitality is a debt. Every gift creates an obligation weighed carefully, returned in the proper season with interest of feeling. Here the gift arrives before you even have proven you can pay for dinner. This is not an appetizer. This is declaration. We trust you. Eat. I ate with the gravity the moment deserved, and then, I must report this calmly, the basket emptied and a new one appeared. Did we refill? The waiter said. It's bottomless. Bottomless? They have wells of salsa. The supply lines of this nation are beyond anything my ancestors imagined. Don't fill up on chips, my dude. Too late. I had accepted 3 baskets. Honor demanded each one be finished. An unfinished gift is an insult. By the time my actual food arrived, I was a ruined man. I was not hungry. I was not comfortable. I had been defeated by a courtesy. Generosity that arrives before the request cannot be repaid. It can only be survived. I know the rule now. I have made my peace with the basket. 1 basket, 2 at the most. That's my point.
Fantastic.
It's just the funniest tweet
that's fantastic.
on the planet. And it's just how it reads. It's like awesome.
Yeah. That was great. It's been fantastic to see and to experience and to see them experience it. And like I said, I hope it brings a little understanding and compassion to just humanity.
And I do think it also helps that there's 3 host sites. This isn't just the United States. And it's all over the United States. You're getting what the United States fully is, essentially. You're getting a bit of the Northwest, a bit of the Northeast, a bit of the South.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting what this country actually is.
Yeah.
So, I do believe this is great. And obviously, again, with it being in Canada and Mexico, with a chance for 3 host nations to all experience this like melting pot of all these different countries coming is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think it's also showing this is one of the best World Cups to watch. Like, the stadiums have been packed. The crowds seem electric. These games have been good. And I think that also helps. Because, if none of the games were good, I know, it's not fair, but, if the World Cup itself and the games are bad and, nothing was really going right, I think that would also show a negativity on it.
Yeah.
And we're not getting that right now. It's nothing but positive. And that's, I think, also been key to this whole thing.
Agreed.
So, it's definitely been amazing. Cannot wait for more of these knockout games to go. Because those are honestly always the best games to watch. So
it's been great. I will be full of soccer. I will see you next year for the Women's World Cup. After
That's
this
right.
is all over. So.
All right. I think that does it for World Cup talk. Unless you had any other
not World Cup. No.
All right. So I think that does it. Do you have any random sports news? Because I do not.
So I do have one.
Oh, nice.
Really random. Didn't even know this was happening. Just kind of found it.
Okay.
Today, after 4 years, Serena Williams makes her return to tennis.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot.
She
I
did.
I was like, I'm pretty sure she lost.
Unfortunately, yeah, she did unfortunately lose her game. They did go 3 matches. It was out of 3, but she did lose. But 4 years of being absent after having a kid, facing someone 10 plus years younger than you, and she did hold her own. So,
Still the GOAT.
Welcome back to tennis. We have missed seeing you, and congratulations.
Yeah, and it's always cool when a GOAT of their sport returns. So
yes,
and she most definitely is the GOAT of women's
absolutely
tennis.
Is. Absolutely.
So, pretty cool. Yeah, I saw that earlier. Completely forgot about it.
Yep, I did watch that today. Overlapped with soccer a little bit, but
yeah,
for the most part.
Might have to go watch that replay. We'll see. Because she lost, I might not. Might be a little disappointed.
Sure.
All right. Well, if that's all the random sports news, then I think that does it for us this week.
Awesome.
All right. This is a little bit of a longer one than what we've been doing for the summer. Obviously, taking 2 weeks off will do that. We had a lot of news to get through, and then also the World Cup. I don't expect more summer videos to be this long, but if you enjoy it, let us know. If you want us to keep them shorter, also let us know. Can do that as well. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. Check out our TikTok as well. I believe we have it linked down below. I know we are going to start doing a lot more on the TikTok. And I want to say we're also doing YouTube Shorts. So keep an eye out for all of those. It would be greatly appreciated to check those out. So yeah, just leave a comment.
Just for a heads up, right now we are staggering TikTok and YouTube. When we're a little more on them, and as we've been putting those videos out for a while, where we're putting them out together. But right now, you'll find a segment of this video on YouTube and a different segment on TikTok. Eventually, they'll all be out, but we're staggering which days they come out.
Nice. All right. So I believe that does it. This has been Floxnet Sports Podcast. I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
Thank you.